Good morning, fourth grade. Today you have lesson 110 and 111. And the reason that you have two lessons combined this time is because really they are both kind of like review lessons, but I want you to practice some skills from both pages. The reason that this first one that's up on the screen is considered a review is because you've already had a lesson that looked so much like this. In fact, you've had two lessons. The only difference is that this time it says metric. Well, we've always had it say metric. Liquid measures. So the liquid part is the part that is different. Last time you had linear meaning line. So we did everything written in meters, whereas today you're going to see it with liters because liters means liquid. So the liter is the unit of capacity. Capacity means how much space something can fill up. So it's the capacity of a metric system. A liter is slightly larger than a quart. So when we draw our G for our gallons, that's our standard version. So it's not the metric. So liter does not fit in this. Okay, but we can so I can show you just as a representation. So quarts, there's exactly 4 quarts that make a gallon. That's why we draw this. Now, the liter doesn't fit in it, but it is slightly larger than a quart. So it's not 4 liters. You can't say 3 liters. Like it doesn't measure out equally to fit into a gallon. But I draw the L there to show you that it is a little larger than a quart. Okay. So now when we look at our word parts, we notice that they're the same. We have milli, centi, deci, and then we say the word liter after each one of those. And then instead of a unit, that unit is a liter. Then we have our word part, our prefix deca, our prefix hecto, and our prefix kilo. Those are all the same and they have the exact same numbers. So 1,000, 110, 1/10, 1/100th, and 1/1000th. So today we're going to just practice getting those prefixes down in our head and memorized. Okay, so on 1A, it says we're filling in. Also, just take note sorry, I'm skipping around. The left hand is the abbreviations for them. So for like when it was meter, for kilometer, it was km. Now for a liter though, it's K with a capital L. Liter is capital L. Okay, so otherwise they're the same. We used to have centimeter. Well, now today we're doing centiliter. All right, so now to A. When it says 1 liter, then that means we stop at the 1 liter spot. And so when it says equals 10 of something, that means we're working with this section down here. Okay, then we find where it would be 10. So I look at my fraction. So 1 liter would be 10 deci. I'm so sorry. I already messed up on the first one. Deciliters. Okay. Then the next one, it says it takes 10 liters. So therefore, we need 10 of these. So we're working our way up then. And if here's my 10, this is where I'd put deca. Okay. Then we're back and it says 1 liter again. 1 liter means I'm going down because that's the most I can have is 1 liter. 1 liter equals 1,000 what? So you find your 1,000 and that's milliliters. Okay, on the opposite side of that, it takes 1,000 liters. So therefore we have 1,000 middle ones just to get to 1 what? So we're going up the scale. after, oh, sorry, that's just one L. After we have our 1 liter, 2 liters, 10 liters, 100 liters, 1,000 liters, it takes 1,000 of them to finally get to 1 kiloliter. Goodness, I'm really struggling on my spelling tonight. All right, then it says it takes 100. It takes 100 liters. So I'm piling up those liters. Once I get 100 liters, what do I have? I have a hectoliter. And finally, we're back to that 1 liter again. So that's the most I can have is 1 liter, which would equal 100 centiliters. Okay. All right. Number 2, you're going to circle the largest measurement in each row. Okay. So sometimes it's helpful to look up at the chart. Other times it's maybe more helpful to write it out in terms of the liter. Okay. So 5 kiloliters, 5 centiliters, or 5 deciliters. Okay, if I'm thinking about what the word kilo means 1,000. So if I have 5 of them, it means 5,000. Centi, if you remember up here, was a decimal that was in the second place value over. So if it's 5 centiliters, then it means it's 0.05. And deciliters would be 0.5. Well, which one of these is the largest? This one's the largest. Okay. Millimeters. Millimeters is a decimal, and it's the smallest decimal. So 100 milliliters. 100 centiliters. Or 100 liters. Okay, which one's the biggest? This one. Okay. All right, 25 liters, 25 deciliters, or 25 deciliters. I'm going to go up to the top to show you how you can do it up there. 25 liters. It means right here I'm at 25 of these. 25 deciliters, so 25 of these. Or 25 deciliters, or 25 of these. Which one's the highest up? This one, so that means deca is our highest one. Okay. All right, and then finish each equation. So this one, you are going to just practice writing them out exactly as they have it up above. So this section that's right here is what you're writing. You just have to figure them out. So a DA means deca. So 1 decaliter is how many liters? Deca means, I'm not sure why this isn't writing. There we go. 10. Okay, if I scroll back up, deca is 10. Okay, then ml means milliliters. Milli means it's in a decimal spot. So 1 milliliter, I'm going to write the decimal and the fraction. So it's 0.001, or it is 1/1000th, because that's how we say that decimal is 1/1000th. Okay, then kilo, 1 kilo, that goes above a liter, and it's worth 1,000 liters. 1 centiliter. 1 centiliter. That's another decimal because it has that I. Okay, so it's not my deca, which is like the tenths, but it's centri, centa, 100. So it's in my hundredths place value, which is also 1/100th. A hecto. I'm going above the liter. How many am I going above? 100. And finally, deciliter. The DA tells it's deca. Deci, it's like the decimal, and then it's one place over because it's 1/10. All right. So, like I said, it's same as what we've done, just in measurement of liquids now. All right, on the back side, this is one of them I wanted you to remember and review. We haven't talked about shapes for a while. Write the letter of the correct name in the blank. Okay? Decagon. Deca. We just had deca on our other side. Deca means how much? Well, 10 liters equals 1 decaliter. So dec means 10. So what's our 10-sided figure? A. Okay, a hexagon. A hexagon. I don't know if you really remember what hex would be. So maybe come back to that one. A kite. Hopefully you just remember what a kite looks like. So this one's kite. The technical rule for kite is that it is the two sets of parallel lines, but it's not even like a rhombus. A rhombus would be even. A kite is not even. Okay. A pentagon. Penta means a number. Okay. Then a rhombus. A rhombus is a square that is pushed over a little. It's like the wind blew it. The only difference between a rhombus and a square, the rhombus has all four sides the same size. There are two sets of parallel lines. The only difference is it does not have a square corner. Okay? And then a trapezoid. A trapezoid has one set of parallel lines. Okay? All right, for this time, you may skip 5. Okay? For 6, I would like you to skip A, but I would like you and D to do these two in the middle. Now, it says write the sum or the difference. I gave you one sum and I gave you one difference. Remember to annex zeros where necessary. That means add in zeros. And the reason for that is, I talked about it a little bit in yesterday's lesson. If I, for example, have just 9 and I don't have the zeros there, then in your mind you might say, well, I'm just adding 9 to nothing. But the rule of it is that I cannot add 13 and 9/100ths if I don't have hundredths also on the next number. Or even a better example is in C. I have 197 and 8/10ths, but I'm taking away 64 and 2/100ths. I cannot take hundredths away from tenths or tenths away from hundredths because they're not in the same place value. So you have to add zeros in. Also, how do I take away, like 2's on the bottom? If there's nothing to take away from, how would I borrow? So you need to add in those zeros. All right, next page. All right, I want us to practice matching these because it's really important that you practice saying them and knowing how to read them. Okay, then number 2, I want you to write each set in order from greatest meaning the largest, to the least. So it is just like when we're doing ABC order. You first look at your first letter. The very first number, they're all zeros. So therefore, I'm done with that one, and I move on to the next number. I have a 5, a 0, a 0, a 1, and a 0. Which one of those had the biggest number? This one did. It had a 5. So I write that number on my biggest one. Okay, 501. Thousandth. All right, now that one's done. I circled it so I know it's done. Now I'm done with that second number. Well, technically I'm not done with the second number. I just have I just got the biggest one. Now when I'm looking at that second number, I need to look at it again, now that the 5's out of the way, and see what's the second biggest. So I have a 0, a 1, and a 0. So I have 3 zeros, but then this one is a 1. That's bigger than those zeros in that first place value. Okay, so therefore that's my second biggest one. I have 0, 1, 0, 5. So 105 thousandths. Now if I look at that first number again, I have 0, 0, 0. So those will do me no good because I've already used them. They all are the same. Now I have the second number in the hundredths place. I have a 0, I have a 5, and I have a 1. Which one's the greatest? The 5. So I have 0 and 51 hundredths. Then I look at that number again, and I see over here I have a 1. So I have 0 and 15 thousandths. Sorry, I think I said 51 hundredths. I meant thousandths. And then finally, 0 and 5 thousandths. Okay, now that we're in order, I want you to look at them again and look at them in terms of they're all in the thousandths place. But this number is 501 thousandths, 105 thousandths. Is 500 or 100 bigger? 500 is, so that's why it's first. Then I have 105 thousandths, 51 thousandths. Well, is 105 or 51 a bigger number? 105 is. Okay, so then I have 51 thousandths, 15 thousandths, and finally 5 thousandths. All right, do the same thing for B. Okay, and then I would like you to do number 3 where you practice writing them as a decimal. So 6/10, I have 0 and 6, and it's my place value. Okay, all right, and so do 3 and 4. You do not need to do 5 today. You do not need to do any of 7. You do not need to do any of 8. You do not need to do any of 9. So that leaves you with just 6. We don't get to practice our algebra very often. Okay, so please do those 2. That is all. I know that seems like a lot. Really, a lot of it, though, is short and it's quick. But they're the new skills, the decimals. So take your time to do those, please. And please be careful when you're doing them. Don't make sloppy, quick mistakes. All right, please raise your hand if you have any questions. Otherwise, good luck.